joining me today. I'm going to show you how to use a non-traditional Halloween set, the birthday Fiesta. We're going to use the Fiesta like there's no Mañana. And as soon as I saw the little cookie cutter Halloween shapes, this stamp set here, I knew that I wanted to use that sentiment from the birthday Fiesta. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a Fiesta like there's no Mañana Halloween party card. So I have two samples here. The differences are just the designer series paper that I use. Both of these are from the Halloween Night Specialty paper from Stampin' Up. But the background that I used here is the basic gray, and this one is the basic black cardstock. And in the sample that I'm going to use today, I will be using smoky slate cardstock, so you can kind of see which one you like the best. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, as far as stamping, again, as I showed, I'm going to be using the Cookie Cutter Halloween set, which is the series that I was to show how to do different projects using just a couple of Stampin' Up products. So you'll see that I stamped the skeleton, I stamped the Dracula, and I'm going to stamp the mummy. And I'm going to be using one of my favorite black inks, and this is the Stays On Jet Black ink. So I'm going to adhere the little mummy. This is a letter D acrylic block from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to just stamp it onto the Whisper White cardstock. Okay. As far as other stamping, I have another piece of the Halloween Specialty Designer Series paper, and I'm going to be stamping on this side. And as I mentioned, this is the sentiment from the birthday Fiesta, which is Fiesta like there's no Mañana. The Designer Series piece measures 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. Again, using the Stays On black ink. Okay, and then the only other thing that I'm going to be stamping, this is the inside piece, and I'm going to be using another one of the Halloween stamp sets from Stampin' Up called Spooky Fun. This can be purchased separately as a stamp set, or it can be combined with the matching framelit set. I'm going to be stamping Happy Halloween, and I'm going to be stamping that in pumpkin pie. Okay, so here's Happy Halloween. And then from that set, the Spooky Fun set that I showed that has the sentiment Happy Halloween, I'm going to be using the Stays On ink again, and I'm going to be using these two little bats right here. And I'll be stamping them with the Stays On black. Okay, so that's all the stamping that I'm going to do for this card. And now it's just a matter of assembling it and putting the pieces together. I am still going to be using my Big Shot. So I'm going to push those aside because I'm done with that. And I think we'll do the Big Shot next. What I'm going to be using is another product suite from the birthday Fiesta. This is called the Festive Texture Folder, and I'm going to insert my piece of smoky slate cardstock. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and when I put it inside my Big Shot, I'm going to use this platform. It's called the Big Shot Platform. And then my 2 acrylic sheets. So this is my well-worn acrylic sheet that I really need to replace probably, on top of the platform. Then my texture folder and the cardstock is inside, and then my acrylic sheet is on top. And I'm going to just run that through the Big Shot. Alright, so I get my piece looking very festive and fun. And then I'm also going to use my Big Shot with the birthday Fiesta framelits, which is this one here, and I'm going to be using this banner, and I'm going to punch that out on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. Now my magnetic platform, because the framelit is magnetic, I've got my acrylic sheet here, putting down my cardstock, my framelit, and then my top acrylic sheet, and then running that through the Big Shot. Usually I do my stamping before I run it through my Big Shot or use a punch, but with this particular framelit banner that I'm using, I wanted to make the banner pieces a little bit different color like I did in my sample here. So in order to do that, I'm going to, as I've done, punch it out first, and then I'll use the stamp set to try to punch inside the banner part. Okay, right, which I will do right now. So this is again using the birthday Fiesta, and I'm going to use this image and this image. Then using my Stays On Black again, I'm going to just ink it up, and then I'm going to just stamp it over as best I can the top of that same shape. And then taking some of the pumpkin pie classic ink, got my other image here, ink that up, and I'll stamp it here. Not too bad. Okay, so now it's just a matter of assembling my card. Okay, I've got my pieces here. This is a standard card, so it's 8.5 inches scored at 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to fold it on the score line. Going to take my texture piece that I made with the smoky slate, and then using some glue. This is actually the two-way glue pen from Stampin' Up. They don't carry it anymore, but got a little bit left. So you want to use something like a glue that will not push out your texture image that you've made with your Big Shot, like your snail adhesive or a tape runner. It'll push out your texture image. Okay. This is other pieces from the Halloween Night Speciality paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this banner fringe, and this is something really fun that I like to do, is adding a little fringe to give your project some texture. You'll notice this is the same piece that I've just I'm using each side. This measures 1 inch by 4 1/4, which is the width of the card, and I'm just going to cut up to my paper, leaving some space at the top because I don't want to cut all the way through, or it will cut through my seam here, and I want to be able to hang my little banner, so I don't want to cut all the way up. So I love the fringe scissors. Again, they add a really fun texture to projects. Okay, so again, I'm just going to take some glue, and I'm going to just layer these banner pieces on top of each other towards the top of my card. Then I've got my banner that I've made, which is going to go pretty well. I think I'm going to just trim off this little one here. But again, just put some glue on the back of those banners. I think this would be a really fun birthday card also, or for someone who has an October birthday, or it would make a really fun party invitation because it's so festive and fun. Okay, so now I've got my little cookie cutter Halloween shapes. So using the cookie cutter builder stamp, punch, I'm going to cut these out. Now, I am going to kind of just quick cut with my scissors around the images, because when I use the punch, there are these other sides, and I'm afraid that if I didn't cut them apart, I would actually punch into my other image that I had stamped. So I'm just cutting them apart, and then I'm just going to punch them now out with my cookie cutter builder punch. So I've got the mummy now. Here's little vampire fella. And last but not least, skeleton. Now, the stamp set comes with little ears, and I have not put a lot of thought into it, but I can't really see how the ears are supposed to be used for the vampire, so I just don't ever use them. Okay, now I'm going to just adhere the stamped images to my card. Sorry about that. So this is just some tear and adhere tape from Stampin' Up, or you can use your glue again. I'm just gonna put them on my background here. All right, now I'm going to add a little bit of color to my vampire, and I'm just pulling out a Stampin' Right marker. This one is real red, and I'm just going to color his vest in a little bit using maybe some real red. And then using a dimensional, I'm going to adhere my image down, my Fiesta like there's no Mañana. This is just a dimensional. Putting it here on my card, and then just a little bit more, another dimension on the back of my vampire. I've got my outside all done. Okay, then just to adhere the inner piece that I've already done, I'm going to take some more of the tear and adhere tape, or again, this is a good time to use your snail adhesive or something else, but you don't need so much hold on this. You just need it to stick down versus maybe like the texture part on the front with the festive texture folder. You didn't want to push that out. So anyway, right, and there it is. I'm all done with my card. Well, I hope that you have a great time making this project. Here are the other samples with the background images. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same. But have a great time making this project, and thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.